Hey Tar Heels, these are strange times to be living in, but it's also a very busy time for Morehead-Cain, so we wanted to take a few minutes to get everyone up to speed. Just last week, we announced the Morehead-Cain Class of 2024. We want to wish a warm welcome to the 70 new scholars to the Carolina community. We also have a dozen scholars joining us after taking a gap year. We cannot wait to hear your stories. Now on to events. Tomorrow, on Wednesday, April 29th, we're launching our virtual 7 speaker series, starting with Shilpi Somaya Gowda, class of 92. The author will offer advice and encouragement about getting started as a writer. This just might be exactly what you need to get started on that novel during quarantine, unless that goal is too overwhelming to even think about right now, which is okay too. Shilpi's talk is at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Next week, we'll have Tom Trevini, class of 2010, staff writer for The Late Late Show with James Corden on CBS. You won't want to miss either of those. You can learn more about the series and who else is participating on the Morehead-Cain Network. We're also rolling out the mentoring program, Rising Juniors and Seniors. If you want to be matched with an alumni mentor, fill out the scholar survey form on the MCN by June 1st. There you can also read stories written by scholars Caroline Durante and Katie Brandau about their experiences and why you might want to join. Lastly, we want to congratulate seniors Daniel Malawsky for receiving the Churchill Scholarship and the Gates-Cambridge Scholarship to study medical genetics in England, Wesley Price for receiving the Luce Scholarship to pursue policy research in Indonesia, and junior Mina Yakubu for receiving the Truman Scholarship to study immigration reform in law school. We also had 8 Morehead-Cains receive Chancellor's Awards this semester. Congratulations to Agnes, Evie, Megan, Ruth, Ozzy, Wesley, Dawn, and Sean, and thank you for your positive impact at UNC. That's it for news from the Morehead-Cain Foundation. You'll now hear from Corrie Conrad, class of 2002. We spoke in early March when Corrie flew from San Francisco to Chapel Hill for final selection weekend. Corrie is Vice President for Social Impact, Sustainability, and Inclusion and Diversity at Sephora. I first asked her what she's currently focusing on and the kinds of initiatives she's working to implement. Here's an abbreviated version of our conversation.
I think one of the things that I'm super proud of and really excited about this year is some of the work that we're doing on racial justice and racial equity. Specifically, there's a study that we've commissioned on racial bias in the retail experience, and as that study takes effect this year, there's a literature review, there's quantitative and qualitative research that are a part of it, an external team that we've engaged to lead it. We've also made commitments to action that we'll take based on the recommendations that come from the research. And so I'm just really looking forward to the next steps there.
And the study on racial bias that you mentioned, did that spawn from anything in particular? I know that this is something that you live and breathe in each day of working on diversity initiatives.
Yeah, so one of the things that we know is unfortunately just a terrible reality in our world is that racial bias exists. It does, and there's all kinds of independent research out there that shows this, that reflects this reality. And so in a world where racial bias is the norm, how might we work intentionally to mitigate it, to create spaces where equity and equality are the norm? The goal here is for this not just to be a Sephora-only effort, but to really see outcomes that can be implemented or I guess recommendations that can be implemented across retail as an industry. And we are committed to leading with commitment to action, based on what we find, but are also holding these findings with open hands and wanting to share them with others who are seeking to create a more equitable and just world.
I was just reading on some of the very neat projects you spearheaded, including Sephora Stands Together, the social impact sort of strategy division, classes for confidence for women re-entering the workforce and for those who have gone through cancer, and Sephora Accelerate, the startup incubator. Is there anything you'd want to share about the thinking behind them and how you get the vision of this is where you want to prioritize? What else goes into how you decide what's to be next and what to dedicate your energy to?
Yeah, so the umbrella of our work, Sephora Stands. Sephora stands with our people, with our planet, and our communities. And we do that through inclusion and diversity, social impact and sustainability programs. How we decide what to do or what projects to start really is, at a simple level, looking at where there are needs in our community. And it was really with that kind of initial framework and lens that we identified the Classes for Confidence program as a strategic opportunity. Teach is a core brand behavior for Sephora, and there was already an infrastructure for classes. We offer free classes in our stores. How might we use those classes for greater good was the question that my team that we asked. And what we discovered was there were some specific opportunities where we could be uniquely Sephora for greater good. And one of those Classes for Confidence became Bold Beauty for gender nonconforming and transgender people, where we create a safe, fun place to try and play with makeup, and for folks who maybe haven't had a chance to do that before. The other, Brave Beauty, for those on a cancer journey, again, looking uniquely at what Sephora can offer in terms of teaching how to draw eyebrows, how to take good care of your skin while going through some of the drying treatments of cancer treatment. And then workforce reentry has been another one. So we can teach a natural professional makeup look that's good for job interviews. So it's really looking at, again, kind of where the strengths of Sephora meet needs in our communities. The story behind Accelerate is a fun one because Sephora has this history, particularly in the United States. We're a French-owned company, so our roots are in France, but in the U.S., of working really closely with entrepreneurs and helping brand founders to succeed. And it turns out that it worked really well. Sephora has a history of identifying new brands that people haven't really heard of yet, and then helping them grow and do well. And when I started at Sephora a little over 5 years ago, I was curious, looking at the data of our top 100 brands, kind of what the gender makeup was of the leaders of those brands. And at the time, the majority were led or founded by men in our top 100 list. Since then, now I'm pleased to share that our fastest growing brands are women founded and led by women. But when you're a beauty company, a prestige beauty retailer, and the majority of your clients are women, it felt like there should be greater reflection of women in kind of brand leadership of the brands that we sell. And so we saw the opportunity to take that strength of working with entrepreneurs in building those brands and to focus specifically on supporting female founders of early stage beauty startups. And so that's what the Accelerate program has done. And this year we will surpass our goal of supporting and building an ecosystem of support for more than 50 women founders.
Oh, wow, that's great. And you mentioned it's a French-owned company, or that's where the roots are. Do you get to use your French that you mastered at Carolina?
I do. I use my French quite a lot. Our global headquarters is in Paris, and so I do make my way to Paris, normally probably about once or twice a year.
Well, very jealous, but that's very exciting. As you look back at your Morehead-Cain experience and your time at UNC, are there any of the summer experiences or otherwise that, as you look now on your career at Google and other nonprofits and Sephora, that help you understand how you navigated those choices? I know you were in Thailand and Zimbabwe and working in DC for the Washington File. Any of those jump out at you as especially salient and influential as you look back now?
I think there's so much from my time at Carolina that laid the foundation for where I have gone and kind of what I've become. Across all of those various experiences that you mentioned, one of the things that I think sticks out to me the most is just the ability to try new things that you haven't done before and just go for it and kind of figure it out. And maybe just it's the courage to do that and know that it'll be okay. And I think so often we think maybe there's the traditional path or the way things are supposed to go. And my journey has definitely, I would say, not been traditional in that regard. It's totally unexpected. I would have never thought that I'd go from working in healthcare in East Africa to Google to Sephora, right? But just like the summer experiences were so diverse and varied, I think that undergraduate experience kind of prepared me for the courage and kind of curiosity to make some bold choices and see what that could bring. So it's been incredibly fulfilling and fun. It's been fun.
And it sounds like that instinct to take a leap kicked in immediately, because you were sharing that you moved to San Francisco with your husband pretty early on into marriage without exactly this 10-year specific plan of what you're going to happen next.
That's true. We did. We moved to San Francisco because it's where we wanted to be. We didn't have jobs at the time and figured we would kind of figure it out, and we did. And so, I think, maybe sometimes we wait or we think that we're supposed to have it all figured out before we take the next step. And I have found often that it's in taking the step that you figure things out. Maybe there's something there. Don't have it all figured out before you take a step. Take a step and then you'll figure it out.
It does always seem like there's this great pressure to already know exactly what you're going to do and the way that you're going to get to whatever looks like success for you, and that maybe it's not really about that end point at all.
Yeah, I think that's an insightful takeaway.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to add? We're recording here on the cusp of finals weekend, and so it's I know you've got a big weekend ahead of you, but anything else you'd want to share to scholars and alumni and the Friends of the Foundation?
Oh, wow. I would just say thanks for listening, and I mean, I am so grateful that I was a Morehead-Cain Scholar here at Carolina. It has had such a profound impact on my life, and it feels really good to be back. There's this sense of homecoming I feel just on being on the campus and, walking by the old well, and it's just, all the warm fuzzies. So thanks for having me, Sarah.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to Catalyze. I'm your host, Sarah O'Carroll, and that was Corrie Conrad, class of 2002. You can let us know what you thought of the episode or who you think should be featured next by finding us on Twitter or Instagram at Morehead-Cain, or you can send us an email at communications@moreheadcain.org. I'd like to end the show by congratulating our graduating seniors for finishing a tough semester, to say the least. We want to wish you all best of luck with your final exams. You got this.